Okay, I'm not being funny, but which one am I? I need to pee immediately. Birds and bees. Now, I'm going to make the assumption here that bees are meant to be men and birds are meant to be women, purely going off the fact that women are sometimes referred to as birds by some people, and bees have a stinger. I don't know. Either way, it's not good labeling on bathroom doors, is it? It's not done well. How is anybody meant to actually really know for sure what one they're meant to go in? Special thank you to my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel and supporting my content. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are going to be once again returning to r/AreTheCisOk, because it's been a little while since I specifically returned to this one, and you guys seem to be enjoying this type of content at the moment, so who am I to say no? As always, Artemis. Oh, she's gone! Where did she go? Oh, hello. She was in that bowl playing with that piece of string behind me. I turned around to show you, and she was gone. Anyway, yeah, Artemis content, here she is. As always, you need it. And very quickly before we begin, as always, I just wanted to mention that I will be live on my Twitch on Thursday at 7 PM UK time, so go check that out. As always, it's a good time. Me and George just finished Baldur's Gate 3, so we're going to be looking at something else to do. I might be doing some model painting streams or something like that, because I paint Warhammer, or who knows, but I'll probably be doing something fun, so come check out the stream. It's always a good time. Right, let's get into the subreddit, shall we? Billie Eilish reveals she doesn't feel like a woman. How can you carry these around and not feel like a woman? People try and not make everything about sex challenge. Like, she can not feel like a woman and have a woman's body. That's the whole point. She might even feel like those aren't something she's comfortable having. She might feel like she doesn't like them, or she might like them. Who knows? It's really complex and everybody's different, but either way, they don't make a difference to how she feels. Like, she can feel a certain way that doesn't align with the body she has and with the image that that body gives her, and that's why she doesn't feel like a woman or doesn't feel comfortable like a woman. That's the point. But they just had to make it about sex, didn't they? Because that's all these people care about. They're like, I find a person attractive, and therefore that's the only thing that matters about that person. We've had this one before, but just the image below it, is very funny, and it's the post about someone going, I find myself suspecting actual women of being trans now. It's like culture war trauma or something. I actually had to pause this movie and look this actress up to make sure she was actually female. And yeah, it's just these people sat in a prison of their own mind, okay? You don't have culture war trauma. The only reason you are suspecting women of being trans, the only reason you feel the need to transvestigate or to do any of that is because you have put yourself in that position, because you are giving yourself that mindset, because you have decided that that matters enough that you need to think about that instead of just looking at someone and not caring. It doesn't make a difference if this person is cis or trans. It wouldn't make a difference, and it will never make a difference. It doesn't matter. And yet these people have put themselves in this mental prison and attributing it to culture war trauma because they're so obsessed with trans people that they have to see them everywhere. It's become an unhealthy obsession, and these people genuinely need help.
The city of Chicago has gone woke. Oh no, this twin has a rainbow on it and my ego is so fragile that hurts me.
And they call us the Snowflakes. Like, Jesus Christ, it's a fucking rainbow, okay? It's Pride Month, and whoever owns this train, whether it be the actual, like, local council or whether it be a private company, has painted a fucking rainbow on a train. That's it. That's all it is. It's a fucking rainbow. And these people are so fragile that painting a rainbow on a train offends them. Like, good God. You can't get much more special snowflake than that, can you? Really? Fragile little babies with egos made of paper-thin glass. It's genuinely pathetic. if testosterone is the ugly hormone, then why does my vials fit so perfectly in a custom-made holographic box with anime boys on the packaging? If you were a real man, you would have put half-naked anime lollies instead of handsome anime twinks. Just saying. This one's interesting because cisgender gay men exist. So like, you know, cis men can be into men. So trans men can also be into men. So yeah, but also anime lollies is a bit of a red flag, don't you think? Like, lollies look like children, and being like, man, if you were a real man, you'd be into characters that look like children is a bit of a red flag. It's a bit of a red flag, right? That can't just be me thinking that. It can't just be me thinking that, right? It's a bit of a red flag. It's a little bit fucking weird, dude. It's a little bit fucking weird. And they call trans people the groomers. The amount of transphobia on this platform is disgusting. Transgender isn't real. The people identifying as such are almost entirely perverts and autistic people groomed into it. You know when someone like posts something on Twitter like, wow, there's a problem here, and then someone just goes out of their way to prove them right? Like, person goes, the transphobia on this platform is disgusting, and someone just takes it upon themselves to just be like, yeah, transphobia, that's me, and I'm doing it right now. Thank you for proving the point. God, Twitter is a cesspool. Stop using Twitter. Like, Jesus Christ, people, stop using Twitter. Every time you use Twitter, you are giving money to a transphobic Nazi asshole that gives money to transphobic Nazi assholes, okay? Elon Musk profits on transphobia and bigotry, and he gives some of that profit to the people spreading transphobia and bigotry because it then makes him more money. And every second you spend on Twitter is giving those people more money, okay? So stop it. Don't use Twitter. Use literally fucking anything else. Blue Sky is a really good alternative. The biggest problem with Blue Sky is that not enough people use it. Everybody go to Blue Sky and follow me on that. It's public now, by the way. Genuinely use Blue Sky. It's like everything Twitter should have been. It's a good platform. Please stop giving money to Elon Musk. This one, I'm not even gonna bother reading this one because it's mind-numbingly stupid. But they've done this, the left mind versus the right mind, and they've got Pepe the Frog. They don't understand a lot of things, okay? They've also done really fucking weird things. Like, they do this black people just people thing, but like, we already know they don't believe that because like the vast majority of hate crimes are committed by white people. And then just everything else. My favorite one is the Trump orange fruit Trump one. That one's just funny. And they also have the classic child to transgender because we believe that the queer people want all children to be transgender. Like, fucking no. We want trans kids to be allowed to be trans kids. That's it. We don't want every kid to be transgender. We just want the kids that are transgender to be able to talk about that and be open about that fact without being persecuted by assholes like this. That's all we care about. All we care about is that people be treated with respect and kindness and allowed to be who they are. That's it. That's all we care about. If it takes educating people about those things, then fine, because so many people grow up not knowing these things exist, being so incredibly confused through their teen years because they don't align with everything they're being told, and then it takes them until they're a fucking adult to even find out that things exist and go, suddenly everything makes sense. And it's harmful. It genuinely creates issues for kids and teens growing up who feel like they aren't correct and are told by people like this that they aren't correct because they were just born a certain way. And that's fucking awful. And the fact of the matter is, we don't want kids to go through that. We don't want kids to grow up thinking that they are wrong for existing, and the right mind wants nothing more than to tell anybody that doesn't fit into their extremely narrow and closed-minded view of normality. They want to do anything they can to make sure that those people know that they are not right because they don't fit into that extremely small window. And it's just the worst. And they will go out of their way to claim people are groomers for telling a child that it is okay to be themselves. They're not groomers for forcing children into religion, or forcing children to believe that the way they exist is wrong, or forcing children to believe literally any of the shit that they force children to believe, okay? They will burn fucking books. They will ban books in schools. They will pull children out of schools and homeschool them. They will have politicians, okay, congressmen, arrested and convicted for trafficking children or jerking off outside of infant schools, and they will call trans people the groomers. They will vote those people into Congress. They will vote actual pedophiles into Congress, and then they will call trans people the groomers because those trans people dared to be happy with who they were in a way that didn't fit into their fucking narrow view of society. And it's pathetic. It's genuinely pathetic and sad. This one is just average 4chan post, but God, I'm gonna have to censor this one, but they really see themselves like this, and it's just like, this is the fantasy that they have, that like, oh, I'm fighting the trans hordes, look at me, one of the last saviors of society, because I use 4chan. It was just, they really never got over the fucking chud, whatever it's called, chudwok, you know what I mean? That guy. God, it's just so cringe. Being trans is not a choice. Being transphobic is a choice. Sorry, but I was born this way. You weren't though, and you're continuing to be the way you are because you are probably pretty sad about your own life. Like, let's be real, okay? Let's take a moment to just talk about the fact. If a transphobe was genuinely happy with their own life, they wouldn't be going out of their way to try and shit on trans people because they wouldn't care. They'd be happy and they'd want other people to be happy too, right? Happy people like other people being happy. If you are trying to make other people not happy, it's because you're bitter and sad. Like, at the end of the day, that's all there is to it. And no one is born bitter or sad, and it's a choice you make to go through your life being bitter or sad, okay? You can change. You can be a nice person. You can treat people with respect, and you'll find that other people will also treat you with respect back, right? If you aren't transphobic to trans people, you'll find out that they are actually normal human beings, and they will also treat you with respect back. And you'll find out that the world is suddenly a lot bigger and is suddenly full of a lot more really nice human people that you didn't realize existed because you went through life treating all of them like they are enemies and saying that you were born to treat all of them like enemies, when the reality is you were brought up like that, and that's really fucking sad. I am not a feminist, but I agree with TERFs when it comes to trans. You didn't need to tell us that you're not a feminist, dude, because transphobia is incredibly rooted in misogyny. So, I mean, if you ask any feminist that isn't a TERF if TERFs are actually feminists, they'll tell you no. And one of the reasons there is that they are inherently rooting a core belief that they hold in misogyny and actively fighting against what it is that feminism is actually about. If they were really feminists, they would agree that trans women deserve equal respect and deserve to be treated the same way everyone else does. But the fact of the matter is they don't, which means they are not feminists and they are not fighting for equal treatment. They are not fighting for the rights of women. They just want to be able to take that step above other people, okay? TERFs aren't after equal treatment. They want to put trans women down so that they can use them as a stepping stone. They don't want to be equal to everyone else. They want to be above someone. And they are very, very happy to use trans women as something that they can use to be above someone else. It makes them very happy that they can consider trans women below them because suddenly they feel like they're not at the bottom anymore. That's all it is about. It's so heavily rooted in misogyny because they need other people to be below them because they believe that that makes them better than them. Just saying. Just saying. The most important pronouns: wife, mother, woman. as God intended. Those are not pronouns. You learn this when you're like 6 years old. You know, you learn really early in school what nouns are, verbs are, adjectives are, all of those things. You learn these as a kid when your age is still in single digits. And my God, do conservatives go out of their way to fail elementary school level English. Also, just gotta point out, as God intended, God didn't invent pronouns, and wife, mother, woman are English words, and the Bible originally not written in English. In fact, likely the previous translation, Latin. Also, the Bible not written in Latin. So it's starting to turn out a lot like maybe it's not how God intended, or maybe it is because God doesn't give a shit about what language we use, and also doesn't give a shit about pronouns and identities and any of that. He just wants us to be happy. Whoa, what if God just wants us to be happy and to live the best lives we can? And like, what if that means that you're trans? Then that's what God intended. What if God intended people to be trans? Whoa! It's almost like transphobic people don't actually give a shit about religion. They don't give a shit about religion, do they? They just want to shit on trans people.
Oh no! Oh no! God said don't judge people, and they do that every day. Oh no!
And the final post. Cis means they identify as the gender they were assigned at birth. Basically just not trans in any way. And cis people hate that label. Stop using it. Switch it up if you want. But it's basically a derogatory term now, weaponized against them anytime they have an opinion. If anything, the trans community should add something to their gender rather than forcing people to change how they identify themselves. They don't have the identity crisis, so why do we call them cis, then weaponize it? No one's weaponizing the term cis, okay? If you feel like cis is being weaponized against you, it's because you hold shit opinions. And it's not because you're cis, it's because those opinions are shit, okay? And if every example of cis being used seems to be used as an insult, maybe it's because you're only associating with people that are being insulted because their opinions are shit. Anyway, the person replied, use this term to distinguish between who is trans or not. Cis person gets angry, and they call us the sensitive ones. And yeah, I already touched upon that earlier, but yeah. But honestly, my favorite part of the whole thing is when they go, if anything, the trans community should add something to their gender rather than forcing us. But
the trans community should add something to identify themselves, guys.
Sorry, that was so loud. They do. You just used the word, buddy. Trans, okay? There's already an identifier for trans people, and that identifier is trans. Trans woman, trans man, etc. Non-binary. There's another identifier for someone who isn't cis. The fact of the matter is, it's also a lot easier to say cis to identify someone who isn't any of those things. It's not an insult, it's just a fucking word rooted in etymology alongside trans. That's all it means. We have the word trans, we have gender fluid, we have non-binary, we have all of these ways of identifying and talking about people how they are. And so the word cis needs to exist, because otherwise you have to say, me, I'm just not trans, non-binary, gender fluid, agender, any of those. I'm none of those things. Yeah, the word is cis. Wow, crazy. Who could have seen that coming? Oh man, trans people need to add a word to identify themselves as trans. And that's where I'm gonna end the video. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Oh boy. If you would like to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click on that join button to join the channel. I struggled to say that for a second there. It helps a lot more than you might realize. Like, genuinely, a large portion of my income through YouTube comes through Patreon and YouTube members, so it genuinely does help and mean a lot. So thank you to everybody that does. Special thank you to all of the people that do support the channel. It genuinely helps so much. Honestly, as I already said, thank you so much to everyone that does. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.